Born and raised in Arizona, this former high-risk analyst dreamed of touching lives through serving coffee. Successfully starting a business of her own, Heartsleeves Coffee Shop has been an amazing addition to the Little Italy community. Meet Brandi Kirschbaum.
I always wanted a coffee shop since that point. I started going to different coffee shops and drinking coffee, and when I was about 20, I bought a house, lived in that house for a while I worked, and I sold the house when I was about 25, and I used the money to pay for school. Kind of did the stable, safe route. I was always kind of scared to take that leap of faith, even though all I ever did was talk about having a coffee shop. And all my relationships, everything I ever did was I wanted to have a coffee shop. Started writing business plans like every year and just talked about it nonstop. And then after I just got so burnt out with like such a kind of unfulfilling job and a kind of negative, there's nothing like super happy about the job I was doing. My job was to determine the worst possible maximum loss of a risk, life safety, what could hurt someone or kill them. So that wasn't like the happiest job ever. Now coffee makes people happy, so now I get to do that instead. That's kind of like the synopsis, I guess, the gist of how I got here. Hi, I'm Brandi Kirschbaum. I'm owner and operator of Heartsleeves Coffee in Little Italy. I actually never worked in a coffee shop before this. I did a lot of home barista. I would make concoctions. I got a cheap espresso machine and started playing with ingredients and drinks, and started making just all these different drinks and started thinking about what I wanted. Visited a lot of different coffee shops, saw what I liked about them, what I didn't like about them. Kind of liked toying with the idea of like coffee cocktails, so a lot of my drinks are a lot of different combinations of things. They're not completely syrups, so that it tapers down the sweetness. So I was just always experimenting, and then having other people like at home, I would make them. I'm like, what do you want me to make you? You want a latte? So I would always make people coffee when they came over. When I first opened, the very first week that I opened, I had a breakup in a relationship like 3 days after my open. And I had to cope with that, keep everything running, keep it smooth, keep it quality, smile, act like everything was fine, everything's good, which it was. Customers would make me happy. Like, people coming to the shop made me happy. It kind of, in a way, helped to get through it because I had a business and people are coming and people are enjoying it. And so it would help me when I was here. I was actually better here than not being here, because when I wasn't here, then I would get sad. And so I was just trying to cope with that situation. And then just hiring issues, trying to find the right people, trying to find the right fit can be difficult sometimes. And then I'd be on all me, 7 days a week, 14 hours a day, just at the shop. And then my contractor, who is one of my good friends, he actually did the build out, made it health code ready, put in all the lights, painted, did some copper welding, just all kinds of different things that he did. I had the shop open for a few months, and when I lost my baristas and I was a little short-staffed, he decided to come and barista for me. And I needed him. It was a good match. He's super outgoing, very charismatic, loved him to death. Everybody loved him. Good looking guy, just charming, could sell ice to an Eskimo, and just amazing. He committed suicide 3 days before my birthday. After he was where I was expecting him for a shift, and my phone rang, and I was like, "Hey, Chris," and it wasn't him. It was his fiance on the phone, and she was crying hysterically to where I couldn't hardly understand what she was saying. And that was the only time I ever shut down my shop, is when I found it. So I shut down, and I was waiting for her to tell me where she was so I could go be with her. And then the next day I had to pretend like it didn't happen. And I only told a couple of people, regular customers, people that knew me, people from the neighborhood, and they started helping because I was all by myself again, and they took out the trash, and I had some customers that hopped behind the bar and ran the register for me during rushes, and people would bring me things, like bring me like inventory or whatever, or bring me a milk from the fridge. And I went through after my anniversary and I had done a thank you, and I just started tagging everyone that's ever like helped me just with something small, like whether it be like going and grabbing me a couple of milks at 7-Eleven because they're busier than I expected, or grabbing some paper towel, like everything. There were probably like 40 different people that I tagged, and those are just people that are on social media. That's not even the people that just I don't really know, like it's just customers. But yeah, a lot of people have helped me, especially Sean. Sean Barnes owns Love and Aesthetics next door to me. He was my biggest supporter and encourager in the beginning of the shop, when everyone was naysaying me and telling me that businesses fail and that I'll never succeed, and just questioning everything that I did. He spent a lot of time trying to make me feel better about it and not to listen to them, and encourage me to find the supporters and the positive people. He's like, listen to me, don't listen to the person that's gonna shoot you down. Or a lot of the stuff that you see in my shop is from him. I wouldn't have been able to afford it otherwise. He's helped me a lot. He's one of my very best friends, and fortunately I have him next door. He's been in the industry, so a lot of the help, a lot of the support, the biggest majority comes from him. Number one, biggest help that I've had this whole year, and it's been a roller coaster of a year. With Chris passing away, and there's just been one thing after another. Small business have enough to overcome without just everything else just getting involved. So I'm very happy to have made it through that first year, organized chaos, and have the customers just not see it and try to put out a quality product and a good experience. That's my biggest thing is I want people to feel comfortable here. I want it to be a good vibe. I don't want any negative energy. I just want people to have a quality drink and a positive experience. Those are my two biggest, most important things that I can provide. I'm Brandi Kirschbaum, owner-operator of Heartsleeves Coffee in Little Italy, and you're watching The Block.
You can visit Heartsleeves Coffee Shop at 621 West 1st Street in Little Italy.